Your Honor, before proceeding, I would like to offer Plaintiff's Exhibit 507.
Hearing no objection, 507 is admitted.
Dr. Tam, let me ask you to turn to tab 2, which is Plaintiff's Exhibit 2685. Now, this is...
Excuse me, what number again, please?
tab 2.
Right.
Right, and it's Plaintiff's Exhibit 2685. It's headed ProtectMarriage.com Coalition Endorsements Partial Listing. Do you see that?
I'm sorry, I can't find it.
Look at Plaintiff's Exhibit 2685. May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes, you may.
All right, yeah, got it. Yeah.
Good, okay. Now, is Plaintiff's Exhibit 2685 a partial listing of the Coalition of ProtectMarriage.com?
I believe so.
Your Honor, I would offer Plaintiff's Exhibit 2685.
Your Honor, we do object, not to necessarily the exhibit itself coming in, but we do, but we don't believe a foundation has been laid for the witness to testify about what this document is and what it shows. It is a ProtectMarriage.com website document. We would stipulate to that. But for him to be able to testify about what it purports to show, the date of the document, it has not been established. When this information is placed on the website, for instance.
Do you wish to lay any further foundation with this witness, Mr. Boies?
Well, let me ask just one more. I was actually only going to ask him one more question. Actually, I think I may have already asked him this question. Let's see. Are the organizations and people that are listed here a partial listing of the coalition that supported ProtectMarriage.com in promoting Proposition 8?
I believe so, but I don't know because this is their website. I don't know. I only see our organization's name on it. That's all I know.
Well, you see, if necessary, I can take you through this one by one, okay? So, the first organization there is Focus on the Family. Do you see that?
Yes.
And was that one of the organizations that was part of ProtectMarriage.com coalition supporting Proposition 8?
I believe so.
All right. And the next organization is Family Research Council. Was that one of the organizations that was part of ProtectMarriage.com that was supporting Proposition 8?
Now, I really don't know why they put these names on there. You have to ask them, not me, because I have no position of knowing which organization or person is on this list. Is there a coalition? I really don't know.
Well, Dr. Tam, my question to you is whether the Family Research Council was one of the organizations that was part of this ProtectMarriage.com coalition supporting Proposition 8. Yes, no, or I don't know?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you know what the Family Research Council is?
I know what it is.
Have you worked with people from the Family Research Council on Proposition 8? You have, did you not, sir?
No.
You didn't get emails that included them?
Oh, I got a lot of emails from different organizations, but that doesn't mean I work for them, right?
Well, let me try to be clear. The Family Research Council was one of the organizations that you got emails from, and that were listed as joint addressees with you and your organization in connection with Proposition 8, correct?
Could be.
Now, let me ask you to read to yourself the organizations that are here and tell me whether any of these organizations listed here are organizations that you recognize and know were part of the coalition working with ProtectMarriage.com to support Proposition 8.
I must say I don't know.
You don't know any of them?
Well, I know some of them.
Yes?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm asking you. Which ones are the ones you know?
Oh, the ones I know, yeah, I know some. Do you want me to read it?
Well, what I want you to do is I want you to identify which one of the organizations on this list that you, from your own personal knowledge, know were part of the coalition working with ProtectMarriage.com in support of Proposition 8.
Okay. Focus on Family.
Huh?
Family Research Council,
Uh-huh.
California Family Council, Value Advocacy Council, Traditional Family Coalition, and those are the ones I recognize.
And the Traditional Family Coalition that you just mentioned, what is your relationship to the Traditional Family Coalition?
I am the Executive Director of Traditional Family Coalition.
All right. And let me ask you to look next at Plaintiff's Exhibit 2620.
Moving in 2685, are you,
Yes,
Mr. Boies?
I'm offering that, yes.
Beg your pardon?
I'm offering it, yes.
2685 is submitted. Objection overruled. And this is 2620.
2620, yes.
Yeah, I'm there.
All right. Now, this is a protectmarriage.com email, and I have no reason to believe that you actually ever saw this at or about the time it was sent, which was July 2nd, 2000. However, I do want to ask you about a paragraph that is on the bottom third of the page. It's a one-sentence paragraph that reads, "The Chinese coalition with Bill Tam remains strong, and he is one of the signatories." Do you see that?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor. Your Honor, I object on the basis of relevance. This was written in 2007 before Proposition 8 campaign started. Bill Tam, as acknowledged by the plaintiffs, did not see this. This seems like it's irrelevant.
Well, I'm not sure it's irrelevant. This appears to be a document generated in connection with a gathering of signatures in connection with Proposition 8. I think that establishes its relevance. And Mr. Boies has indicated that he does not believe that, at least contemporaneously with the document, the witness saw it. But he can certainly pursue a question with respect to it. Objection overruled.
What is the Chinese coalition that is being referred to here, if you know, sir?
Chinese evangelical Christians.
And what is your relationship to the Chinese Evangelical Christian Coalition?
Well, because of my position at Traditional Family Coalition, I know some Chinese churches.
And would I be correct to infer that from this, that of July 2007, you were already working with protectmarriage.com in connection to what became Proposition 8?
Yes, I think so. But my memory is not very good. I don't exactly remember what was really done in 07. I mean, really.
Now, well, does this document refresh your recollection that as of July 2nd, 2007, you were working with protectmarriage.com in connection with what became Proposition 8?
Yeah, I think that I was approached and I was informed that some marriage amendment could be put onto the ballot, but then we need a signature gathering, so that's what this is.
Now, let me, Your Honor, I would offer Plaintiff's Exhibit 2620.
Hearing no objection, 2620 is admitted.
Dr. Tam, let me ask you next to look at Plaintiff's Exhibit 2476.
Okay.
This, do you have it?
Yes,
Okay.
this is.
This is an email that you sent on October 22nd, 2007, correct?
Uh-huh, 07, yeah.
And you sent it to whom, sir?
It's addressed here is called Dear Friend of TFC, and these are members of TFC, which is Traditional Family Coalition.
Okay. And the first paragraph, you say, "I'm still waiting for protectmarriage.com for instructions of when we should start the signature collection for California's Marriage Amendment Initiative." Do you see that?
Yes.
And that was a true statement as of October 22nd, 2007, yes? Your Honor, I would offer Plaintiff's Exhibit 2476.
Very well, 2476 is admitted.
Now, as part of your work with protectmarriage.com, you solicited contributions to protectmarriage.com, correct?
Yes.
All right, and let me ask you to turn to Plaintiff's Exhibit 2612.
Okay.
Now, this is an email that you sent on February 14th, 2008, correct?
Yes.
And this is an email that refers to the interview or debate that you had that was broadcast on Channel 26, correct?
Did you say 2612?
I'm sorry, the exhibit number?
Yes?
No, it's 2472.
I'm sorry, 2472.
I apologize if I misspoke, Your Honor. I did say 2612, but it's 2472.
All right, 2472 it is. And you wish that exhibit? Are you with that exhibit, Mr. Tam?
Yes, I'm there.
Good. Now, this is an email that you sent on February 14th, 2008, correct?
Yes.
And you're talking about the opportunity that you have to publicize what you refer to as, quote, our Protect Marriage Amendment.
Yes.
Now, close quote. And this is on television, correct?
Uh-huh.
Is that correct, sir?
Yes.
Right. And this was a debate that you participated in that was going to be broadcast and was broadcast over Channel 26, correct?
It's an interview. It's not debate.
Well, is this separate from the debate that you referred to earlier? You said you participated in a debate that was broadcast over Channel 26. Do you recall that, sir?
Yeah, it's separate.
Separate, okay?
Two separate events.
Okay. So you both had a debate and a separate interview, both of which were broadcast on Channel 26, and both of which were used to promote Proposition 8, correct?
Yes.
Now, let me focus on the debate. And I asked you this question, but I'm not sure we got an answer. The debate that you participated in that was broadcast over Channel 26.
Yes.
Now, that was a debate that you participated in because you were told to participate in it by protectmarriage.com, correct?
Yes.
Now, let me go to Plaintiff's Exhibit 2612. This is an email that you sent on January 10th, 2008.
Yes.
And in that, you talk about the fact that many Christian groups are joining forces to launch Proposition 8, correct?
Yes.
And those forces included your organization of TFC and included protectmarriage.com, correct?
Yes.
And California Family Council.
Yes.
And Concerned Women of America.
Yes.
And Values Advocacy Council.
Yes.
And others that you do not list there, correct?
Right.
Your Honor, I would offer Plaintiff's Exhibit 2612.
2612 is admitted.
Now, let me ask you to turn next to Plaintiff's Exhibit 2640.
Okay.
Now, this is an email chain that includes both you and Mr. Pugno, correct?
What I see here is my name on it and Mr. Pugno's name on it. I don't know whether it's a chain or not.
Well, sir, if you begin,
Your Honor, I'd object on attorney-client privilege. I think at that point, Mr. Pugno was serving as Mr. Tam's attorney.
Attorney-client privilege?
no, it was introduced to us in discovery, Your Honor. There was no claim of attorney privilege at that time that I'm aware of.
Your Honor,
I'm also not sure, just looking at
I
this,
beg your
that-
pardon?
I also believe, just looking at the substance of this document,
It does
that
not appear to relate to legal advice.
And I just wanted to clarify, we had produced the documents, we had gathered them and produced them, and we are not asserting attorney-client, defender, interveners. Protect Marriage was not.
Very well. 2640 is admitted.
and this includes both emails from Mr. Pugno to you and emails from you to Mr. Pugno, correct?
Yes.
And what was the purpose of the emails that you sent to Mr. Pugno? What were you trying to tell him?
I was asking anything I shouldn't say or disclose in case of questions from Chinese press.
All right, and let me ask you to look next at Plaintiff's Exhibit 2651. And while you're doing that, Your Honor, I may not have offered Plaintiff's Exhibit 2472, and I would offer that at this time.
Very well. 2472 is admitted.
Now, do you have Plaintiff's Exhibit 2651, Dr. Tam?
Yes.
All right. Now, this includes both emails from Lynn Fischel to you and emails from you to Lynn Fischel, correct?
Yes.
And who is Lynn Fischel?
Someone who works for California Family Council.
And this email that went to you is directed to the protectmarriage.com leadership, correct?
That's what it says here.
Right, and that's what it said when you received it in March of 2008, correct, sir?
Yes.
Right, and you were part of the protectmarriage.com leadership, correct, sir?
I think she's just being nice to call me one of the protectmarriage.com leadership. I don't believe I am.
Well, at the time you didn't tell her that you didn't think you were part of the leadership, did you, sir?
Well, I didn't think that I was. You know, when somebody says something nice to you, you should say, hey, don't say that, I'm not as good. You know, that's common sense. In fact, at the time, I don't really care what they called me, but frankly, I don't believe I'm a protectmarriage.com within their core group. I'm not.
You're not in their core group?
No.
What do you mean by core group?
I don't know. You have been talking about I was sitting there. I listened to all your different comments about core group, and I know I'm not.
So the term core group is something you sort of picked up in this litigation, correct?
Right, right.
Right, yes.
Right.
Uh-huh. And let me ask you to look at 2609. And while you're doing that, I would offer Plaintiff's Exhibit 2651.
Very well, 2651 is admitted. And this is 2649, is it?
No, 2609.
2609, sorry.
Okay, sir?
Okay.
Okay, good. Now, excuse me, Plaintiff's Exhibit 2609 is an email that you sent April 15th, 2008, correct?
Yes.
And do you remember telling me just a moment ago that you thought that Lynn Fischel was just being nice to you when she described you as part of the ProtectMarriage.com leadership?
Uh-huh.
You remember telling me that?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Objection, Your Honor. This is another document that's on the highly confidential attorney's eyes only. This is to pastors and church leaders. It's a private email, so I would object to any open court discussion of this document. And this is not from the ProtectMarriage.com. It's an internal memo from Bill to his group.
This is a memorandum or email sent by the witness, correct?
Sent by the witness, yes.
Objection overruled.
Now, Dr. Tam, let me direct your attention to the second paragraph.
Okay.
Now, do you see where you write, this year, TFC, and that's you, correct, sir?
Yes.
Right, is playing a major role to put one man, one woman marriage into California's Constitution. You see that?
Yes.
And that was a true statement as of April of 2008?
Yes.
Yes. And you go on to say that you served as one of the proponents of this initiative, and you worked closely with ProtectMarriage.com to collect 1,050,000 signatures. Do you see that?
Yes.
And that was a true statement, wasn't it?
Yes, in the sense that now this is April of 2008. At that stage, it was during the signature petition phase. So yeah, I was playing a major role. I spent a lot of time sending out petitions and collecting them, and worked closely with all the mechanics with Project Protect Marriage to to get petitions off to Chinese churches. So those are true statements, and yeah, working closely with them, but that was April.
No, when you say working closely with them, you mean you were working closely with ProtectMarriage.com, correct?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would offer Plaintiff's Exhibit 2609.
Very well.
No. This document, I'm sorry, this document contained a lot of sensitive numbers that I would not like to disclose to the public.
I'd object also, Your Honor. This is one that we did designate attorney's eyes only, and some of the major reasons is they're very, very sensitive. There are very, very sensitive numbers in there. And this is not something that should be available for public to see. It has salary numbers, budget numbers, information about Dr. Tam's family. So this falls, I think it falls strictly under the attorney's eyes only protection.
This document is my letter to pastors and church leaders. Most of the things are talking about my personal information, and I'd be very offended if this was to be put into public eye.
Now, Your Honor, we'll be prepared to redact the balance of the paragraph after the two sentences that I read. The two sentences that I read are really the key points for us. And I'm not sure I agree with Dr. Tam and his counsel, but in the spirit of trying to move things along and being cooperative, we'll redact those.
Very well, that should take care of the problem. 2609, as redacted, will be admitted.
Let me ask you to look next at Plaintiff's Exhibit 2650.
All right.
Now, at the bottom of the first page, there is an email from you to Lynn Fischel, correct?
Yes.
And you're responding to an earlier email that she had sent you, correct?
Yes.
And one of the things you're asking her is, who is Bryan Brown, and why is he speaking for us? Do you see that?
Yes.
And who is the us there?
Those people who are within, I would say, protectmarriage.com.
And that included you and TFC, correct, sir?
Yes, to a certain extent, yes.
Now, Your Honor, I would offer Plaintiff's Exhibit 2650.
2650 is admitted.
Now, let me ask you to look next, Dr. Tam, at Plaintiff's Exhibit 2538. Now,
Okay.
this is an email that you wrote on May 15th, 2008, correct?
Yes.
And it talks about, at one point, how you stood with the lawyers from ProtectMarriage.com and other people when the California Supreme Court had come down with its opinion saying that same-sex marriage is legal in California, correct?
Yes.
Right. And the last sentence of this says, we can't lose this battle. And the next battle was the battle that you're referring to, was the battle for Proposition 8, correct, sir?
Yes.
You say, we can't lose the battle for Proposition 8, or God's definition of marriage will be permanently erased in California. You see that?
Yes.
Now, was that your motivation for participating with ProtectMarriage.com in promoting Proposition 8?
Yeah, it was one of the reasons.
Your Honor, I would offer Plaintiff's Exhibit 2538.
Very well, 2538 is admitted.
Now, what were the other reasons, Dr. Tam?
The other reason is I think it's very important for the next generation to understand the historical meaning of marriage. It's very important that our children won't grow up to fantasize or think about, should I marry Jane or John when I grow up? Because this is very important for Asian families, cultural issues, the stability of family.
Mm-hmm. And any other reasons that you supported Proposition 8?
No, it's about it for the next generation.
Well, you wanted the next generation to understand the historical meaning of marriage, is that right?
Right.
And did you believe it was necessary in order for people to be educated about the historical meaning of marriage to,
Yes.
to prevent gays and lesbians from marrying?
I did not think of it that way.
Okay. Now, you support domestic partnerships for gays and lesbians, correct?
Yes.
And you support legislation giving gays and lesbians equal rights in employment and housing, correct, sir?
Yes.
And you support the rights of gays and lesbians to adopt children, correct?
I haven't come to a conclusion with that yet.
One way or the other?
No.
No, okay. Do you consider yourself hostile to gays and lesbians?
No, I don't.
Well, let me ask you about a website. OneManOneWoman.net. That's a website you're familiar with, right, sir?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor. That's an anonymous website. There's no foundation here for that, that Dr. Tam has any connection with that website.
Well,
There's no,
look, we'll see whether Mr. Boies can lay a foundation. This is exhibit what?
It's going to be Exhibit 2199, Your Honor. Now, Dr. Tam, before we get to that exhibit, Dr. Tam, may I have your attention?
Yes.
Thank you. Now, was this in connection with the website OneManOneWoman.net?
My connection?
What is your connection with the website OneManOneWoman?
My connection.
Yes, yes, your connection, sir.
Well, this is a website of a group called America Return to God and Prayer Movement.
Called what?
American Return to God and Prayer Movement.
And what is your relationship to that group?
I'm a secretary of that group.
You're the secretary of that group.
Right.
Okay. And who else participates in that group?
Different Chinese pastors.
Okay. And as secretary of this group, you're familiar with their website, correct?
Yes.
And you see what's on that website, right?
Yes.
And if you saw something on the website that you did not approve of, you'd say so, right?
I'd say it, but they might not listen.
Well, have they...
I'm the secretary.
have they ever not listened to you, sir, about something on the website?
Yeah.
Well, what did you want to put on the website or take off the website that they wouldn't do?
Well, for example, something like something mentioned about a bestiality. That I object to.
You objected to something about bestiality.
Right. The mention of it.
But they left it on the website.
I don't know.
Well, have you ever objected to anything on the website other than this reference to bestiality?
I don't recall.
And did they remove the reference to bestiality?
I don't know. I would have to check.
Why did you object to the bestiality?
Because it's not related to homosexuality.
All right. Let me ask you now to look at Plaintiff's Exhibit 2199. Now,
Excuse me. Your Honor, defendant interveners would object to the questioning about this document. It does not appear from its face to reference Proposition 8. We don't believe that one organization's internet site related to homosexuality is relevant to the issues in this case, so so we
Well-
would object to questioning on it.
The witness testified that he was secretary of the organization whose website this was.
Well, I understand, Your Honor, but it's a general website that's not directed, at least, this exhibit does not demonstrate that it is a Prop 8, that it's directed at Proposition 8.
Your Honor, this was already admitted during the testimony of Ms. Zia. Dr. Tam,
Yes.
this printout from the website does not, as near as I can tell, mention bestiality. However, the first line says, studies show that homosexuality is linked to pedophilia. You see that?
Yes.
And did you believe that was true?
Yes, I do.
And so you supported this website in making those kinds of statements?
Yes.
Incidentally, could you read into the record what the heading of this is at the very top? It says one man, one woman, right?
Right.
And then what's the next line?
Homosexuality linked to pedophilia.
And it says here, homosexuals are 12 times more likely to molest children. You see that?
Yes.
And do you believe that was an appropriate thing for your organization to be telling people?
Which organization?
Well, your organization that you said you're the secretary of, that puts out this website.
Well, yes, because these information are now, from what you see here, those are not the statements of the organizations. Those are just links to the websites. So as far as my position is, if there is something like this people want to read about, then the organization has the right to link it.
Well, you're not only linking it, your organization is stating right here that homosexuals are 12 times more likely to molest children. That was written by your organization, correct?
No, this, as far as I know, is what the paper, what that, the more, when you click that, whatever information provided, the web
Dr.
page,
Tam, look,
shows that the homosexuals are 12 times more likely to molest children. It was in their website. It's not a statement made by this organization.
Dr. Tam, this is a page from your organization's website, correct?
From the organization, I have a small part in.
Well, you're the secretary, right?
Yeah, but there are presidents, vice presidents, and other more important persons.
I'm sure there are other officers, and there are other people who are not officers.
Well, what's the power of the secretary of your company?
Considerable.
Well, you're very generous.
But my point, sir, is that
If you are trying to prove that, I influence that organization, then that's not true. I just, as secretary, I was told.
no, first of all, you told us that you looked at the website. You were familiar with the website.
I'm familiar with it.
You remember telling us that?
Yes.
All right. And you knew that the words on this page had been typed by somebody from your organization, correct? You knew that?
Yes.
Okay. And you know that somebody from your organization that had typed the words, homosexuals are 12 times more likely to molest children, and put it on the internet.
Yes.
Yes, correct?
Yes.
Now, do you believe that homosexuals are 12 times more likely to molest children? Do you believe that?
Yeah, based on a different literature that I read. Yeah.
Oh? And what literature have you read, sir, that says that?
I've read what is posted here.
And what is that? Tell me what it is you've read.
I don't remember now.
Who authored it?
Some from apparently academic papers.
What academic papers, sir?
I don't remember.
Well, do you remember any of them?
No.
Was it in a journal, or was it in a book that you read, or?
Could be some news. Could be some from some journal.
Could be. It could be. I'm not asking you what it could be. You told me that you read something that said homosexuals were 12 times more likely to molest children. You told me that, right?
Yes.
Okay, now I'm asking you what you read. Where did you read it? Was it in a book?
I don't
Was it in an
remember.
article?
I don't
Who
remember.
wrote it?
I
Okay, sir. Let me ask you to turn next to Plaintiff's Exhibit 513.
okay.
And this is something that you wrote during the campaign for Proposition 8, correct, sir?
Yes.
And the heading is, What If We Lose, correct?
Yes.
And what you mean was, what if we lose Proposition 8, correct?
Yes.
And you say that if Proposition 8 does not pass, they, whoever that is, will lose no time in pushing the gay agenda. Do you see that?
Yes.
And you say the San Francisco city government is under the rule of homosexuals. Do you see that?
Yes.
And do you believe that, sir?
Yes, I believe that.
And who are the homosexuals that San Francisco is under the rule of?
The time Supervisor Tom Amanio was supervisor there.
Right, and there was a mayor there also, right?
Yes.
And the mayor was homosexual, was he, according to you?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Well, I don't think so either, actually. So, if you knew the mayor wasn't a homosexual, why are you telling people, in part, of the Proposition 8 campaign that San Francisco is under the rule of homosexuals?
Well, you see, Mayor Newsom passed out the same-sex marriage license in 2004. And if he was not a friend of them, why would he do that?
Well, when you say that San Francisco is under the rule of homosexuals, did you mean that San Francisco was under the rule of heterosexuals who were friends of homosexuals? Is that what you meant?
It could be.
Could be.
Yeah, you know, I'm not a lawyer. I don't write things so specifically. You know that well defined.
Okay.
Now, you're trying to use your legal arguments to pinpoint me in something that I said that sometimes I think it's beyond my original intent.
All right, all right. Well, let's see as we go through this how you use words, okay? You go on to say that after legalizing same-sex marriages, they want to legalize prostitution. Do you see that?
Yes.
And do you think that people who were opposing Proposition 8 wanted to legalize prostitution?
That was Proposition K at the time on the San Francisco ballot, and I saw several homosexual politicians that supported that. So I draw from that, from their support, that they want to legalize prostitution.
But that didn't have anything to do with Proposition 8, did it, sir?
No.
No, it didn't. And you knew that at the time, didn't you? You knew that Proposition K was entirely separate from Proposition 8, right?
Yeah.
And didn't have anything to do with the other one, right?
Right.
You knew that.
Right.
But nevertheless, you said after legalizing same-sex marriage, they want to legalize prostitution. That's what you wrote, right?
Yes.
Then you go on to say what will be next. On their agenda list is legalizing having sex with children. You see that?
No.
Uh-huh. And that's what you told people to try to convince them to vote yes on Proposition 8, correct?
Yes.
Correct. Your Honor, I would offer Plaintiff's Exhibit 513.
Very well, 513 is admitted.
May I add a comment to this?
Well, usually people say you have to wait until your lawyer examines you, but go ahead, sir.
Okay, I want to explain my reason of writing this, because when I look at liberal countries in Europe, which have, or even look north at Canada at the time, they have their legal age of consent down to like 14 years old. Some are even down to 13 years old. To me, those are very unacceptable. And that is having sex with children, or older child having sex with another child. And in Canada, it was a country that legalized same-sex marriage. So the liberal trend, that's what I'm afraid of.
Have you finished?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Proposition 8 didn't have anything to do with the age of consent, right, sir? It's nowhere in the 14 words that you wrote, correct?
Right.
You could have written it. You could have written it in, but you didn't write it in, did you, sir?
I wouldn't write it in.
No, you didn't write it in. And so the proposition didn't have anything to do with this, right?
Right.
Okay. And Canada, after it adopted same-sex marriage, it didn't change the age of consent, did it?
Right.
And when you talked about these liberal countries in Europe, some of those countries have same-sex marriage and some of them don't, correct?
Yes.
Right, and the ones that have adopted same-sex marriage, they haven't changed their age of consent, have they?
That I don't know.
You don't know. But you don't have any reason to believe that allowing same-sex marriage would affect the age of consent, sir, right?
Not directly, no.
No, okay. Now, you go on to say, if Proposition 8 loses one by one, states will fall into Satan's hands. You see that?
Yes.
And by falling into Satan's hands, you mean permitting gay and lesbians to marry, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Your offer, I would offer, I already did offer Plaintiff's Exhibit.
513
yeah.
is in.
I would ask you next to look at Plaintiff's Exhibit 2507. Now, this is an email from you dated September 16th, 2008, and it is essentially the same as Exhibit 513 that we just looked at, correct? It's dated...
25007.
Yes, it's dated later in September, but it's essentially the same, correct?
2507, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Your Honor, we would offer Plaintiff's Exhibit 2507.
2507 is admitted.
Now, let me ask you to look next at Plaintiff's Exhibit 2343.
Okay.
And this is a translation of a document that is originally in Chinese. And if you look behind the blue divider, you'll see the original Chinese.
Point of clarification, potentially an objection. Mine appears to be what I was given.
Appears to be, a compilation exhibit, some of which I may well have objections to, but I don't know if you're referring to an individual exhibit or if this is in fact the entire exhibit.
No, this is the entire exhibit.
Well, then I would object, Your Honor. I think there are several pages within this exhibit are, well, several of them appear to, well, let me just make sure. Yeah, some of them appear to relate to articles that were written years before Proposition 8 and do not refer to Proposition 8 at all. So we would object that they're not specifically relevant to this case, and yeah, at least.
Proposition 8 is mentioned throughout the exhibit, is it not?
It is, but this is an exhibit that appears to have been put together by plaintiffs of differing documents that came from differing sources. And it was, I don't believe that it was produced this way. And in terms of the individual documents, as I said, each one, there may be different. But in terms of the articles that are in here that do not relate to, there's Chinese articles that have been translated into English, and at least some of them predate Proposition 8 by many years, and we would contend are not relevant, and we would object on those grounds.
Can you point to an example?
Yes, Your Honor, page...
Your Honor, just a moment. I'm sorry, this wasn't the exhibit. It was 2343.
Yep. Do I have the wrong one?
No, this wasn't the exhibit. It was 2343.
Yes, 2343.
Yes, okay.
And it appears, well, there is a Chinese article. I mean, I don't know how many pages into the exhibit it is. The article is entitled "Homosexuality is Not
Where
Equal
are you
Rights."
reading?
Well, the English translation, I guess, that they are purporting to offer of one article is page 1, 2, 3. The fourth page is on the back of that page. And the English title that they have translated it to is "The Harm to Children from Same-Sex Marriage." And it appears to have, it appears to predate Proposition 8 and to be an article that he wrote on the topic, but not specifically to Proposition 8.
I see. But this is an article written by the witness?
It appears to be, yes.
Attached to the documents that reference Proposition 8?
I don't know. I think that the plaintiffs put together this exhibit. I don't know that it came this way. I don't know that the article was attached to anything that was... I believe that this is an article that they pulled down off of his website that is a standalone article, that he has multiple articles on his website, his own personal home, his own Bill Tam's website, and there's multiple articles on there. And from his deposition, I am aware of this. And this is not a Proposition 8 website. These are, it's an article that he wrote years ago and has posted on his website.
Well, I gather this is a document that the source is the witness.
It is, Your Honor, but again, we would contend, we would object.
Mr. Boies can explore what the document is, where it came from, how it got put together, how it was used, and all of that.
Dr. Tam,
Yes.
does your exhibit have handwritten pages in the lower right-hand corner?
Handwritten?
Yes, in the lower right-hand corner. This is Exhibit 2343.
I'm at 2343.
2343.
Right. I'm there. I'm there.
What?
Yeah, I'm at 2343.
2343.
Right.
Now, the first 3 pages of this are affidavits of accuracy from the translator. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so let me go to the 4th page of the exhibit. It says, why should we support Proposition 8? You see that?
Yes. Right.
And this is this something that you wrote?
No.
Oh, it's not. Is that your testimony?
Right.
All right, well, let me,
This is a reference to. Wait a minute. Is this referring to this page?
yeah, if you go to the Chinese version,
Oh, right.
you do have that, right?
Yeah, with this. Right.
Right, yes,
Yeah, I did not write this document.
You did not write this document. Do you see in the bottom right-hand corner of the Chinese version?
Right.
What does that say, sir?
Bottom right-hand corner.
Yes, bottom right-hand corner. May I approach, Your Honor?
You may.
What does that say?
Yes. oneman-onewoman.net.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
Yeah.
The organization that you're the secretary of, correct, sir?
Right.
Now, have you seen this document before?
Yes, I have, but I did not write it.
Well, who did write it?
Somebody in charge of that part of the printing and putting this together.
And what was the purpose of putting this together?
Well, for support of Prop 8.
Okay, so this was prepared by the organization that you are a secretary of to support Proposition 8, correct?
Right.
All right. Now, let me ask you to look at and go back to the English version for a moment. The portion of this that begins, the harm to children from same-sex marriage, Tam Hak Sing. Do you see that?
Yes.
All right. And this is also a translation from something that was in Chinese, correct?
Right.
And did you write this?
Yes.
And when did you write this?
I believe in 2004.
And what was the purpose of writing this?
In response to, I think, Mayor Newsom's passing out of the same-sex marriage licenses.
So it was in opposition to the 2004 issuances of same-sex marriage licenses.
Yes.
And this was also distributed by oneman-onewoman.net.
No.
How was this distributed?
This was an article I wrote and put into my website among 60 other articles, Chinese articles.
Now, when you say you put it on your website, what website is that?
BuildTam.org.
Okay, Your Honor, I would like to offer the 4 pages that we began, that begins, why should we support Proposition 8 as Exhibit 2343A? And then I would offer the remainder of the document that begins, the harm to children from same-sex marriage as Plaintiff's Exhibit 2343B.
Your Honor, we would object to both. First, we would object that no foundation was laid that this was distributed or that anybody ever saw this document, the flyer. And the second one we would object to on the same grounds stated earlier.
Very well, objection overruled. 23A, and I'm sorry, 23A and 23B are admitted.
Now, looking at 2343A, Dr. Tam, see the document that begins, why should we support Proposition 8? Do you have that?
Yes.
All right. And you say science proves that homosexuality is a changeable preference, changeable sexual preference. Do you see that?
No. Where?
Number 2. Number 2 says same-sex marriage is not a civil right.
Oh, okay.
All right?
Yeah.
Now, do you see the sentence there that says science proves that homosexuality is a changeable sexual preference? You see that?
Yes, I see that.
All right. Now, what science are you referring to?
Well, I did not write this, okay?
Well, do you know what science is being referred to?
Yes.
You do. Okay. What science is that? A scientific study?
have you heard of Dr. Spitzer? He used to be I think, a very prominent position at APA, who in 1973, he was one of the persons who promote what homosexuality is. Homosexuality is not a disease or mental disease or whatever.
Not a disease.
Right.
Right.
And because of that, what I learned was homosexuality were taken out of being a medical condition that need to be treated.
It was taken out of medical conditions, right?
Yeah, becoming not a disease.
Not a disease.
It's just a part of normal behavior.
Right. Normal human behavior.
Yeah, that's what I learned.
That's what you learned.
Right.
And you believe that.
And then later on, I don't know at what year, the same Dr. Spitzer produced evidence that some homosexuals did turn back and return to heterosexuality. So that is a very important scientist. That's what I refer to here. Is a very changeable sexual preference that is not genetically wired.
Mm-hmm. Now, as you understand it, did Dr. Spitzer say it was not genetically wired?
No, that was another person.
What person is that?
That was Francis Collins.
Francis Collins.
Yeah, he's the one I read. Was one who mapped out the human gnome.
And he is the one, and you believe Francis Collins says that sexual orientation can be changed.
It's not generally wired.
Does Francis Collins, as you understand it, believe that sexual orientation can be changed?
I think so.
You do, okay. Have you ever seen anything in writing that says that?
I saw a website, yeah.
What website?
It was the North website.
What?
North.
And you believe that the North website is a source of objective scientific information?
Well, I believe in what they say.
Now, you mentioned the APA a moment ago.
Yes.
Do you recall that?
Yes.
What is the APA?
I think it's American Psychological Association.
Yes, and what does the American Psychological Association say about sexual orientation?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Have you ever tried to find out?
No, I don't.
You thought it was better to get your scientific information about this issue from the North website as opposed to the American Psychological Association. Is that your testimony?
Yeah, I believe in what North says.
You believe in what North says. Okay. All right, sir. Let me go back to the exhibit you were talking about, and let me turn to what you wrote, which is Exhibit 2343B. Now, the second paragraph refers to Mayor Newsom. You see that?
Yes.
It says, the mayor says homosexuals are minorities and should not be discriminated against. You see that?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, you would agree that homosexuals are a minority, correct, sir?
I don't believe they are minorities.
You don't believe they are a minority?
I'm a minority.
You are a minority. All right. What percentage of the population do you think are homosexual?
Well, my understanding of
What percentage of the population,
based on skin color.
what percentage of the population is homosexual?
What I read, it's about 2 to 4%.
2 to 4%.
Right.
Is that a minority, sir?
In terms of sexual practice, it is.
It is. Okay, so they are a minority. The second thing the mayor says is this: minorities, homosexuals should not be discriminated against. You see that?
Right.
And do you agree with that?
Yes, I agree with that.
Okay, so you agree that homosexuals are a minority and should not be discriminated against, right? Now, the next line of this says homosexuals are not minorities. Do you see that?
Right.
And you wrote that, right, sir?
Yes. Let me look back at my Chinese first, okay?
Okay, yes.
Because this is a translation.
Yes, okay.
All right. Now, in the Chinese, what I wrote is translated to English would be more accurately to be stated that homosexual are not a racial minority.
Ah, not a racial minority.
Right.
So what you are saying is that the Chinese writing, contrary to this translation, really says homosexuals are not a racial minority. Is that right?
Right. The word racial is not put into it's in English here.
But it is in the Chinese.
Yes.
Your Honor, so the record is clear. We will mark the Chinese version 2343C, and we would offer that.
Very well.
Now, let me ask you to turn to Exhibit 537.
I don't have 537.
Don't have a 537.
2537 or 537?
No, 537. I apologize, Your Honor. I'll come back to that. If you don't have it in the book, then, well, let me ask you, do you have an Exhibit 515?
We don't have it either.
Yes, I have 515.
Right here.
All right. This is an article that appeared October 15th, 2008 in the San Jose Mercury News, sir.
Yes.
Yes, and if you turn to the second page of the article, the next to last paragraph, there is a quotation attributed to you, sir, correct?
Yes.
And that was in fact what you said, correct, sir?
Yes.
And what you said was, quote, "We hope to convince Asian Americans that gay marriage will encourage more children to experiment with the gay lifestyle, and that lifestyle comes with all kinds of diseases." You see that?
Yes.
Yeah. And this was part of your campaign to convince voters to adopt Proposition 8, right?
Yes.
Yes. Now, do you have an Exhibit 2601 in your book?
All right. Yep.
But are you moving in 515?
No, Your Honor.
What's that?
No.
All right.
I'm happy to if defendant's counsel wants me to, but that was the only paragraph I was interested in. Do you have Exhibit 2601?
Yes. I'm there.
Uh-huh. And the first pages are 2601A, correct?
I'm at 2601.
And does the exhibit number have an A there?
No.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes, you may.
You see it?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And Exhibit 2601A bears the document production numbers TAM PM 4313 through 4314, correct?
Yes.
And can you identify this document?
This document is I received from medical doctor.
What medical doctor?
You mean his specialty?
Or just who it was?
From Dr. Lao Hangqi.
And what was the purpose of this?
He sent me an article that he wrote.
And is the article attached here?
That's the article.
Okay, now look at what has been marked as 2601B, which bears the document production number TAM PM 4315 through 4317.
Okay.
Okay, and can you identify that document?
Yes.
What is that?
That's another article he wrote.
Okay, now go to the exhibit 2601C that bears the document production numbers TAM PM 4318 through 4320.
Yes.
Can you identify that document?
Seems to be a translation. Oh wait, let's see. Yeah, it seems to be a translation of 2601B.
So this is a translation of 2601B. And this is a translation that you had in your files, correct, sir?
My file?
Yes, this was produced to us. We didn't make the translation. You produced the translation to us, correct?
It could be. I don't remember. Actually, I don't really read this article.
Okay, it's headed Reasons Why We Do Not Support Same-Sex Marriage. Do you see that?
Right.
And it says Presence Ministry. Do you see that?
Right.
What is the Presence Ministry?
It's the Chinese Christian organization in LA.
Do I take it from what you have said before that you don't have any connection with that organization?
No.
Do you have no connection, is that correct?
Well, I know the president, and I went to one of their conferences. That's my connection.
And that's your only connection with them, right?
Right. I was guest there.
All right, let me ask you to look next at Exhibit 2187.
Okay.
And this is a flyer for an open-air rally, correct?
Right.
And this was the rally that Mr. Prentice participated in, correct?
Yes.
That was a rally organized by you, correct?
I had a part in it. It's organized by oneman1woman.net.
Yeah, and beyond that, one of the sponsors is your Traditional Family Coalition, correct?
Right.
And one of the co-sponsors was protectmarriage.com, correct?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right. Your Honor, I would offer Exhibit 2187.
Very well, 2187 is admitted.
And this was a rally that was part of the campaign that you and protectmarriage.com was waging to adopt Proposition 8, correct?
Yes.
And if you look at the third paragraph, third sentence of the first paragraph, you say, It is time the church rise up against the forces of evil that are destroying families and young souls. You see that?
Yes.
Now, what are the forces of evil that you were referring to, sir?
Well, I did not write this, so I'm not referring to anything.
Well, who wrote this, sir?
I don't know.
Well, you saw it at the time, didn't you?
I'm not familiar with this document.
Isn't it a fact, sir, that you were the one that asked Mr. Prentice to attend this rally?
Yes.
And is it your testimony that you didn't see this at the time?
No, because there were many people working and preparing these rallies. As I said, my role in this organization is pretty small because I have my own organization to deal with. So a lot of the documents I haven't had a chance to read. Not to mention, to comment on it.
Your organization is the Traditional Family Coalition, correct?
That's right.
And that was one of the sponsors of the rally, right?
Yeah, right.
And you were the one that asked Mr. Prentice to attend this rally, correct?
That's correct.
And who asked the other people to attend?
There are other leaders in the organization. They asked other speakers to attend.
Who did? Who asked them?
The chairman
The chairman of what?
of that organization.
Did you play any role in getting these people there, sir?
No, I don't know Tony Perkins. I don't know these speakers. All I know was Ron Prentice.
Well, if you didn't know any of the speakers, why did you ask Mr. Prentice to attend?
Mr. Prentice was the CEO of California Family Council.
Well, and if you didn't know the speakers, why were you asking anybody to attend? What is your role here?
My role is very small. I asked Ron Prentice because I knew him, but I didn't know Tony Perkins. I don't know Von Boies. I didn't know David. I can't pronounce his name.
Did you attend this rally, sir?
Yeah, I attended it.
You attended it?
Yeah, but I did not speak there.
Did you meet the people that were speaking?
Yeah, I met them.
You met them?
Yeah, right.
And you met Tony Perkins and the others?
Yeah, I met them.
Yeah, but it was your testimony that...
But I was not allowed to speak there. So you see, it was how small of a role.
They told you couldn't speak?
Right.
Did they tell you why you couldn't speak?
Pardon me?
Well, did they tell you why you couldn't speak?
Well, we have other speakers there.
Well, let me ask. Your Honor, I would offer Exhibit 2187.
Very well, 2187 is admitted.
And just to be clear, Dr. Tam,
Yes.
it was your testimony that before today, you had never seen this flyer. Is that true?
This flyer?
Yeah.
It might have in front of my eyes, but
You don't remember anything?
I don't remember the content. Something like this could have passed by my desk. But there are so many documents that pass by. Some I did not pay attention to, and this might one of those.
All right. Well, let me show you another document and see if you paid attention to this one. Look at Plaintiff's Exhibit 2595.
All right.
No. Excuse me, Dr. Tam. I think there is another document I would like you to look at. It's look at Plaintiff's Exhibit 2204.
Okay.
Now, do you remember telling me a moment ago in connection with Exhibit 218 that you didn't remember this and you just played a small role and all you did was get Mr. Prentice there? Do you remember telling me that?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, would you look at Exhibit 2204 and tell me what that is?
This is a press invitation to attend a rally in Cupertino.
Exactly. It's the same rally, isn't it, sir?
Yes,
And who is sending out this press invitation?
I did.
You did.
Right.
This press invitation says that you were one of the two contacts for the rally, correct, sir?
Right.
Well, now, does that refresh your recollection that you were more involved in this than you said before?
Well, I am one of the contacts, and it is sent out with our stationery. That is because I have more contact with Chinese press, so using our stationery to invite them, maybe it may get more attendance.
This press invitation did not go out without your knowledge, did it, sir?
Oh, I know about it.
Yeah, you knew about it.
Yeah, of course.
Right, sure.
Yeah.
In fact, if you turn to Plaintiff's Exhibit 2203,
Yes.
you personally sent out an email
Yes.
about this rally, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh, and 2203 is that email, correct?
Yeah, yes.
And you are inviting people to that rally, correct?
Yes.
And telling the people who the speakers are,
Yes, yes.
despite the fact that you claim you didn't know the speakers. Is that your testimony?
Yeah, that's true. I I didn't know some other speakers.
Your Honor, I would offer exhibits 2204 and 2203.
Are you offering 2595 as well?
Also offering 2595.
Very well. They will be admitted.